Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Welcome to IATEFL Live. Hi, Nikki.
Hi, Georgia. We're back.
We are back, yes, with a fresh look as well.
Absolutely. I like the intro. That was great.
And of course, with Teddy. Yes,
I forgot my next time,
our
Georgia.
mascot. Yes.
Yeah.
Nikki, how have you been?
Yeah, really good. I think I saw you briefly, didn't I, for the IATEFL's themes conference that was a couple of weekends ago. But yeah, so far
Yes,
so good. How about you? What's new?
absolutely. So, as you said, we had the IATEFL Themes Conference 2 weekends ago, and that was such fun, wasn't it? It was
I
really
was amazing. It was yeah, that was absolutely brilliant. That conference, absolutely brilliant.
the speakers did such a fantastic job, and the audience, oh my gosh, the audience were on it. Like the participation, the conversations. I was learning both from the speakers and from the chat.
It's incredible, isn't it? It's
Yes,
incredible. It was a weekend and teachers were online on it at 10 o'clock in the morning. Incredible.
exactly. But it feels like now we are blowing our own trumpet. Why don't we call on the stage John, our CEO?
I'm not blowing any trumpets today.
Hello, John.
Hi there, both of you. How are you?
Yeah, well. How are you?
I'm recovering from IATEFL themes as well. It was fantastic, wasn't it? It was a weekend of celebrating the Brighton conference, which seems like such a long time ago, but it reminded me just how good some of those sessions were. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it really was.
And we have another incredible IATEFL Brighton speaker with us who is going to tell us about her experience with testing and her experience at IATEFL Brighton. But I'm not going to tell you yet who that is. So that's a surprise for the audience. So let's get started. First of all, Nikki, the stage is yours. John, the stage is yours.
Gosh, over to you then, Nikki, in that case.
Well, but yes. What would you like me to say, Georgia?
Shall I tell everybody what's happening over the next few weeks? Would that be okay?
That would be great actually.
Okay, let's get going with that because there is still, I know it feels like the end of the year, but there's still an awful lot happening. I just had a look on the IATEFL website on the events page, and there are still another 12 events between now and Christmas to join in with. So please do go and have a look at the events page, everybody. See if there's an event which is of interest to you and register for it. Most of them are free as well, so don't hesitate. You were talking about the Brighton conference, and I can't sort of continue without talking about next year's conference. Now, a little question for both of you. Can you remember where we're going?
Yes.
Excellent. Well done. Well, I won't test you any further in that case because we're off to Edinburgh on the from the 8th to the 11th of April next year. We're getting really excited about this. We're just in the process of going through all of the fantastic proposals, and speakers we'll be hearing soon. And the build-up is really exciting, not just for the 4 days of the conference, but we've also got 13 different pre-conference events being offered by our special interest groups on the day before the conference, Monday, 7th of April. So it's a complete week, basically. Choose the PCE you want and then go on to join us for the main conference. And you can find out all about those pre-conference events and the main conference by going to the IATEFL website and using the conference website, which is iateflconference.org. I can't remember what's next. Let's have a look. Yes, I wanted to tell you about something else, which has been really exciting. We started 2 months ago, and this is a new initiative for all of the IATEFL members who are student members and early career teacher members. And those special kinds of membership are actually at a reduced rate if you're a full-time student or if you're in the first 3 years of your teaching career, then you can benefit from a cheaper priced membership But also we've introduced monthly early career support sessions. And the idea with these is if you're having a question, a challenge, a problem in the classroom, then you can drop in to these sessions. They're completely free once a month. And each session has a particular focus: classroom management, teaching listening skills, or writing skills, or exam preparation. So every month has a different theme, and you can drop in, ask your question, and get some advice from experienced practitioners. So we've done 2 so far. Georgia, thank you so much for helping with the first one on classroom management.
It was incredible.
Absolutely. They're really good, these.
Yeah.
And it's also really nice for experienced practitioners such as yourself to be able to sort of give some guidance for less experienced people in our profession.
The conversations, and you know what? These sessions, you go in as an early career teacher, there is no judgment, no prejudice. You just go in with your questions. And that's why it was so good, because people could ask questions that they might not be comfortable asking in the staff room.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would have loved this when I was first starting teaching. I had so many questions.
Oh, absolutely. And it's also, it's not just being afraid to ask in the staff room, but sometimes we're in a context where we're on our own and we haven't got anybody to ask. So
that was my case.
Also
yes, absolutely.
fantastic to have.
You can feel quite isolated, can't you? And so yes, the next one of those. Now it's the next. We actually did the last session yesterday, so the next session is a month away, which means not only that our student and early career teachers who have IATEFL membership now can benefit from that, but it gives you, if you're not an IATEFL member, the opportunity to join and then start benefiting from those sessions. And if you're interested in joining, just go to our website /membership, and you'll see there are different kinds of memberships, as I've said, for students, for early career teachers, for what we call our normal individual membership, for retired people. There's lots of different routes, so go there and find the right one for you. But Georgia, Nikki, that's me finished, unless you've got any questions for me.
Do you know what, John? I was going to ask you, for any member that missed the themes conference, is it possible to watch it again?
That's such a good question, and the answer is yes, absolutely. So IATEFL Themes was anybody could join it, but it was free to members, and all of the recordings are now on the website. So all IATEFL members can jump on the website, and you can go to resources, and you will find a document which has each of the sessions listed, and you can just click to watch each of the recordings. So it's all there, all ready for members to go and rewatch when they have a moment.
Oh, that's fantastic. Brilliant. Thank you, John. That's great.
Okay.
Amazing. John, thank you so much for joining us. And because you always give us very exciting updates.
Oh.
Yes, I want to give to our audience.
I'm really worried now.
A sneak peek of the conference next year.
Let's do that. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Let's go
for it. Thank you, John, very much. We'll see you in the next live on the. We'll tell you something.
On the.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Oh my gosh, the Edinburgh conference, it looks like it's going to be absolutely amazing and in such a beautiful city as well. Oh, and speaking of conferences, Georgia mentioned that we're going to be joined today by somebody who was with us in Brighton, and that is indeed Melanie Shida. Melanie, it's lovely to see you. Hello, welcome to IATEFL Live.
Hello, Nikki. Thanks for having me. I'm really glad to be here. My voice not so good today, but I hope you can
Thank you
understand
so
me.
much for joining us, even though your voice isn't great. Melanie, tell us. Well, first of all, introduce yourself for anybody who hasn't met you yet. What's your background? Where are you working? What's your passion?
Okay, great. So my name is Milene. I am a Brazilian teacher, currently based in France. I started teaching 11 years ago at private language schools, and then little by little, I started having my own private students, and I specialized at the beginning in business English because I have quite a diverse background. Actually, I have a bachelor degree in economics, and I also worked in law. But then one day,
Wow.
I decided I
Teaching English.
wanted to be an English teacher. I had a career change, and just when I started, I knew I said, yeah, this is what I want to do, and this is what I've been doing for the last 11 years. And little by little as well, because of the students, they asked me to help them prepare for exams, and this is how I started teaching for exams, and this is what I've been doing so far. I especially for the IELTS and other exams as well.
Okay, lovely. So IELTS is your passion, and that's what you love doing, and that's what you're currently doing. And how? So your talk at IATEFL Brighton was about adaptive testing, computer
Yes.
adaptive testing, and how we can help to prepare our learners. So tell us how you arrived at that topic.
Yes, so actually, it wasn't anything planned in advance. Just like the way they started preparing for the exams because of the demand of the students, and I noticed that I have been living in France for 2 years. So most of my private students, my clients, they are from Brazil, and many people from Brazil they want to move to Canada or to study or work in the USA, and they need a proficiency exam. And the Duolingo English test has been used like more and more for like required more and more for these people who want to move abroad. So this is how I started, and then it was a whole new world when we compare to the traditional testing, right? So this is how I didn't choose. I just had to deal with it.
Which it's quite representative, isn't it? This is kind of what happens to us, yeah, as teachers. We just have to deal with what we're presented with.
Yes, yes. So my teaching context is this: like I help students, huge Brazilians who want to move to Canada and US, and they had to do that. And I noticed that there were so many challenges, and I had to deal with that. And I didn't have any knowledge about that before. So and little by little, I started working with the students. I started seeing the results, and this is what motivated me to apply for the scholarship of the TSIG, and I got it. Like I would have never imagined 2 years ago that I would be here talking to you. So.
But that's amazing. So have you got any words of advice for anybody who perhaps might be in your situation where they're thinking, oh, I'd love to go to the conference, but I'm not sure how. How did you go about that? How did you get involved with TSIG and getting the scholarship?
Yeah, so before moving to France, I always saw the events online from the IATEFL. I knew about it, but it was expensive for me to come from Brazil. So I said, okay, so one day I'll participate. So even if it was once, you know what I mean? This is what I thought. And then when I moved to France, I had this opportunity, and I grabbed it, and I said, now I'm going, every year. So yeah, and I actually, regarding the scholarship, I had friends that they motivated me to apply as well. They said, Melanie, you are able to do it. We think that maybe the scholarships, they are granted only for experienced teachers, and people who have been there for a while, but actually that's not the case. And yeah, and here I am now. So
Yeah, absolutely.
if you really trust your work, if you know, and you have something to help, to something to add. And the IATEFL, it's such an amazing. I was just seeing the video, and I'm so excited because yes, it's really about making friends and having fun as well. Learning and making friends and having fun. And we have already booked our accommodation for Edinburgh last week, so
Oh, well done.
yes, so we are happy.
Oh, absolutely. But I think that's a great message. Anyone who might be at home watching thinking, oh, I really want to go, but either perhaps I don't have the financial means or what would I do? Absolutely have a look for the scholarship, see what's available. And yeah, never think that you can't do it because there's always a chance. But okay, Melody, let's talk a bit more about your talk. You were talking about computer adaptive testing. So if there's anybody at home who's not sure what that is, could you tell us?
Yes, sure. So the computer adaptive testing is the kind of test that adjusts according to the performance of the students. So they start the test. If they guess the first question correct, the next one will be more difficult. On the other hand, if they get the first question incorrect, the next one will be easier. So that's why the test adapts according to the performance of the students. The test changes on the go. And that's really different from a traditional test where you have all the questions ready made beforehand, right? So that's basically it. Right?
Okay, so what are the advantages, in your opinion, of computer adaptive testing?
Yeah, so the advantage that I see is that they are faster. So usually it's a 1 hour test. Also, they tend to be cheaper because of that, which means they are more accessible, right? If we think about a big country like Brazil, there are not, I have many students that they live in the countryside, so they don't have access to a test center, right? So because they are online, they are faster and they are cheaper. They tend to be more accessible for the students. So I think this is a great advantage
Perfect.
for these tests. Yes.
And are there any limitations or considerations that we should make if we're going to use this?
Yes, a lot. Like the challenges are because they are faster, because of the adaptability feature, right? We don't know exactly how many questions you have, and you don't know the order the questions will appear in the test. So you have a range. So you have between 60 and 80 questions, but that will depend on how you calibrate the system, right? How your performance goes. So we don't have. It's like a lot of uncertainty because of that. You don't know the number of questions. You don't know the order. So you have a high level of uncertainty, which means that the students, they get more stressed because they don't know exactly what's gonna come next, right? So this is something that they need to deal, as well as the technology itself, because many of them, okay, on the one hand, it's more it makes the test more accessible. On the other hand, they are not used to learn using the artificial intelligence behind it, like to be marked in a different way from the traditional way that they were used to. So they need to adapt to this test, right? According, like, we need to manage expectations as well and deal with the stress associated with that. Yes.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. And your talk in Brighton was all about helping the learners to cope with this. So could you give us some of the strategies or any advice if we were going to use a computer adaptive test with our students?
Yes. So because we don't know the order of the questions, the number of the questions, the way that we prepare, it's a little bit different because it's not gonna be, for example, on a mock test basis. Like, we do a complete mock test like we do for another test. We prepare more like it's more question based. So we are gonna practice more these kind of questions and this one and so on. But what many students, they think that a computer adaptive test it's shorter, so it is easier. And they tend to think that it's easier and it's possible for them to try to, oh no, I just need some tips and tricks, to increase my score. And they forget that the most important thing is for them to increase their level of English in general. Like this is because the test is only a means for an objective, and they will have their lives. We really need to help them as teachers to see that and understand that they need to increase their level of English in general, and that as a consequence will help them to do the test and to decrease the level of anxiety as well. But like in a more practical way, we don't do a lot of mock tests, complete ones. We prepare more with question. And something that is related to that as well is study planning and personalizing the preparation. I know that's not possible with most of the teaching contexts, but because the test is a personalized experience, because you will get one person will get a specific number of questions, I will get a specific number of questions, so it's different for each person. The preparation should be as well, so the students, they really need to take control of their ability to understand their performance and to work on the things that they need to improve, and this is more and more important. It is important for any test. Like, okay, I know I need to improve the listening in this part and that part because of that. But for a computer adaptive test, I think this is it's more and more important. Yes.
Okay. This is great advice. And just a final question, I suppose, from me is that if there are any students that are feeling slightly anxious about taking their first computer adaptive test, do you have any advice for them?
Yes. So just take control of your study plan. Try to find ways to be familiar, not only with the format of the test, but also with the technology involved in it. So one of the things that I talked about in my talk is how we teachers, we can help students to with a study plan, but also giving them the opportunity to practice questions using the technology that is involved in a computer adaptive testing as well. For example, there are the tests of the website of Write and Improve from Cambridge that I use for the IELTS, but it is possible for us teachers to adapt and put the questions in the format we want. So this is something that I do. I try to adapt because the website corrects the essays and gives a mark according to the CEFR. So, trying to do these little things here and make them like more comfortable and familiar with the question types and also the technology involved. I think that helps them to decrease the level of anxiety. And also, I just see the question here: how do you help to overcome exam anxiety? And this is it. Like, you just need to help them understand that they need to increase their level of English as well, and that would be a consequence. And more specific for the exam, like try to be familiar with the format and the technology involved.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's kind of strategy is half the battle, as well as knowing the language, like being familiar with it, knowing how to approach the questions. Oh, that's brilliant. Melanie, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon and for telling us about your experience and your talk and for the advice. And I hope that you feel better. Your voice held out, which is great.
Thanks for having me, and I'm so sorry about for my voice again, but it was a pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you, Melanie. Thank you. Oh, George, you're
Oh,
muted.
hello
There we
again.
are.
This is a classic, of course. This is what will destroy civilization one day.
The mute
Unmute.
button.
That was such an interesting interview.
Wasn't she lovely? So open, informative, someone really passionate about what they do. Love it.
And definitely, you could see Melani's passion shine through. That's fantastic. Melanie, thank you so much. And this is the question for everybody as well. And for all of the people watching us from home, this is a very interesting question, especially now that exam preparation is becoming more and more and more intense. This is the question for our audience. How do you help your students overcome exam anxiety? Nikki, what is your tip?
I think strategy is half the battle. I think just kind of practicing and knowing what it is or how to approach the questions, I think may help with some of the anxiety. And practice, practice, practice. What about you, Georgia? What do you do?
Cry.
I mean, you or them?
Both.
Both. It's great.
I
Just
think
get it out. Yeah.
I think that the important point here is to trust your students, because at the end of the day, they will be all by themselves in the exam room, and they need to feel the confidence of the fact that someone is trusting them, and that someone can be you. Because can you imagine all of the stress they're getting from their families, from their friends, from themselves as well?
The pressure.
So I think that just by telling them, I trust you, keep doing what you're doing, I think that this is the starting point, and then building
Yeah, that's great advice. Yes, absolutely.
Now, before we go to our fantastic guest of the day, and I'm always very excited to talk to Derek, but I will tell you more about Derek. Now, before we go to move on to Derek, this live stream is dedicated to our wonderful TSIG. And of course, when I'm talking about TIG, I'm not talking about chamomile tea. I'm talking about testing, evaluation, and assessment. Sorry, you know that I love bad jokes, Nikki.
Yeah,
So, what's new with our TSIG? So, our TSIG has got some exciting stuff coming up. On the 7th of April, they have got their PCE in Edinburgh, and the title is Putting the Learner at the Heart of the Assessment. So, if you go to our IATEFL.org website, you will find more information about the speakers that have already been announced. So don't miss out. They have got a fantastic lineup of speakers. Then TSIG also sponsors 2 IATEFL scholarships to attend the conference. And the next opportunity to apply is after the 2025 conference for the 2026 conference. So watch this space, because this is a very exciting opportunity. Now, the next thing to remember is that TSIG offers monthly webinars. In January, that's a very exciting, they will be celebrating 10 years of webinars, and they are preparing a special event. I wonder what that is, Nikki.
Oh.
Yes. And of course, if you go to iatefl.org, you will find the registration available there. All of the links are here on this slide, so please feel free to visit the iatefl.org website so that you can register as soon as possible. And of course, our TSIG always invites new members and anyone who's interested in offering a webinar or contribute to the publication Tea Today, issued twice a year. So yes, that's very, very exciting. Nikki, if I ask you if you would contribute an article about testing, evaluation, assessment, what would the focus be?
Do you know what? Judging by the themes conference, I would probably say something to do with AI and testing.
Oh, that's...
It's a bit of a buzzword, but it's interesting. I'm very interested to see how AI could be used in terms of teachers preparing the tests.
Ah, that's very interesting.
What would you do?
Probably something that relates to mental health and exam taking.
Okay.
Because I find that exam stakeholders do a very good job at creating inclusive exams. But I always find that regardless of how much you try to be inclusive, there's always this element of mental health that is very difficult to add. For example, you cannot have a 6-hour-long test just to take away the anxiety of time, for instance. So probably something like that. I think that
Is this going to be your talk for 2026, Georgia? 27?
who knows? Who knows? But definitely, it might be something that Derek might be interested in.
Oh.
Yes, yeah, it's very interesting actually listening to everybody's comments there.
Derek, welcome to our IATEFL live show.
Hello,
Thank
Derek.
you. Hi, how are you both?
Yeah, well,
Good, good.
how about you? How have you been?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. Yeah, busy as usual.
Busy's good.
Yes, it certainly is.
Derek,
Mm,
I have got a very important question for you
okay.
because IATEFL 301 came out. So, what can you tell us about IATEFL Voices 301?
Yes, yeah, good question. Well, of course, it's the first issue that's actually fully digital. So, of course, the milestone issue 300 was all about sustainability, and we now sort of continue that with 301 being digital only, but also we have a new section in this from this issue and moving forward, which is about green IATEFL, and our VP Chris Graham introduces green IATEFL. He talks about it in a couple of the previous issues as well, leading up to this. But starts off really by tackling the question, what is sustainability? So actually, it's a harder question than you might think. And he asks a number of different people involved in IATEFL. So there are a few of the trustees who answer questions. John Burton has contributed as well. And there's some people from the SIGs, like Vicky Sawmel, who talked about artificial intelligence and so forth at the last conference as well, and the sustainable factor around AI. So it's all about like what is it, and then also what can we do as well, and what will we do, and what will we be doing in the future as an organization, as IATEFL as an organization, but also as a community as well, because we are a huge community. Yeah. So that's about that. That's the IATEFL, the green IATEFL. We also move on to a second a new section, which is from the British Council. There it is. And first of all, we hear from Alison Devine. And so she presents a lot of the different ways that teachers and educators can be involved in professional development. There's lots of resources in here, lots of, let's say, like webinars, different training opportunities as well that they've presented here. I think you can see in the on the screen just now, there are loads of different links there as well, all in the light blue color. So I really encourage the readers to definitely have a look at these links. There's so much information there. There's something for everyone, really, that the British Council has presented here, and they will have a regular section in Voices moving forward as well. So this is the first of quite a few, which is very exciting.
It is indeed.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a permanent then feature of the IATEFL Voices.
Yes, that's what we're looking at. So we've got another one coming up in the next issue, which I'm dealing with at the moment. But yes, it's something that they're contributing regularly moving forward. Yeah. So there will be different people from the British Council contributing each time. So it'll be a slightly different perspective for each of the articles.
Excellent. Derek, if someone wants to contribute an article for IATEFL Voices, what can they do?
So usually when somebody wants to contribute, it happens in a number of different ways. So perhaps they might already have an article that they've prepared on a specific topic, and they send that through. Now and that's absolutely fine. We do have guidelines, of course. So sometimes it might be that the article that they've sent in is a little bit long, so they might need to sort of trim it down a little bit, do a little bit of editing here and there, just so it fits in with what we need. But other times, someone might just come with an idea, and they're interested in writing about something that's sort of affecting them as a teacher in their classroom, and then that sort of sparks a bit of a longer conversation, because it's like, well, how can we develop this further? So we take it from an idea, then it goes to maybe a little bit of a longer sort of summary of what they might include in the article, to then they have a draft which is ready for submission. So we can take them sort of all along through that process to enable them to basically find their voice. That's the whole point, and then through to publication. So don't worry if you don't have a fully developed idea. If you have a spark, then that's absolutely fine. If you have something which is a little bit more developed, then that's fine too. But yeah, just get in contact with me, and we can start the ball rolling, and we can start talking about it. We're looking at the moment for contributions for the May issue. So January and March are currently full, which is great. So May would be the next one. And if people would like to contribute, the deadline is the end of February. I think it's the 24th of February. But you can submit at any time. You don't have to wait until February. In fact, send them now. So if somebody does want to ask any questions or get in touch, then they can email me is the best way. So it's editor@iatefl.org.
Fantastic.
Go for it, Nikki. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to say what a wonderfully supportive thing to be able to do to help someone who thinks, I wouldn't mind sharing my voice and getting some guidance along the way. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really enjoyable. And I think you see the satisfaction that people get from then seeing their article having been published, and that's great. I think, and that is the whole point of the likes of Voices, and indeed IATEFL in general, is to bring people together. And because there are contact emails at the end of each article, the conversation, the debate can continue as well. So it kind of brings people a bit closer, I think. Yeah.
I love that.
And also, you can overcome your fear of writing, because I must say that when Derek asked me to write something about voices, writing has never been my strongest skill. And I've always feared writing, but because Derek guided me through, it was so much easier. And once you write the first one, then you get so many ideas to write another one. So now I have got a list, Derek, over here on my IATEFL notebook.
Just keep them coming. Well, that's true. I think that's an interesting point, actually, because maybe there are people out there who have really interesting things to say, but are not quite sure how to express those particular thoughts or feelings about what's going on in their classrooms or in their context, if you like. So it's just helping them to be able to do that. And I think sometimes people do, come to voice as a bit nervous and perhaps not always confident about their writing. So then it's kind of giving them that boost and saying, well, actually, don't worry, because we will help you with this. We'll check things, and it goes through the whole usual publishing process. But it's a non-judgmental process, and it's designed to help, and designed to get people's opinions and voices out there. So yeah, and that's what we do.
Amazing. Derek, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Derek.
Thank you. Nice to see you both.
Nice to see you too.
Nice to
Thank
see
you
you
very
too.
much. And we hope to read IATEFL 302 very, very soon.
Yes, well, it's almost there. End of December.
Brilliant. Thank you, Derek. See you in the next live.
Yes, you will do. We'll do. Bye.
Bye-bye. Nikki, speaking of the next live.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Yes.
There it is. 12th of December.
So, 12th of December. And we will not be alone on the 12th. You know who else will be there?
She's not coming, is she?
She is.
Oh, brilliant. We'll be back together as the team. Love it. Love it. Our little Emily's coming back to us.
Join us for our next IATEFL live show on the 12th of December with Nikki and Anka this time. And why not John? And why not maybe, who knows, maybe we might have another guest from the live shows. Who knows? Who knows? I just want the audience to
yeah, build to tease them. Yeah, I know.
Yes. Now, for those of you who are watching after the live stream, don't forget to answer the question. What are your tips to help your students overcome exam anxiety? This is a very important question, so put your answers in the comment section below. And that's it really for today. Nikki,
Time flies.
So I know.
Yeah, that's incredible. Oh, Georgia, thank you. What a lovely show. Looking forward to the 12th.
Absolutely. And I absolutely love meeting new people. So join us on the 12th of December so that we can meet new people. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone. See you soon.